It's time.
It's time.
And now, it's time for Herman and Sharron.
I love you. Thank you for joining us. That's exactly, yes. And we appreciate you allowing us into your living room or wherever you may be. We have a unbelievable
Yes, he's been talking to me and telling me
testimony.
about this book
This is an
for a
uncensored,
couple days now, so I'm really excited.
uncensored autobiography. I'm getting, cause I get up very early. I get up at 4:30. I've never used an alarm, and I during my shaving, I'm going, okay, I want to ask this question, Lord. Am I supposed to do this interview? You know, I'm thinking to myself, it's a little late. This is the most amazing book. In fact, it should mature audiences only. It should be on the cover. It has that. It has X-rated. It has PG, and then toward the end, it has G. All about God and the transformation in this guy's life. I mean, I have done interviews for so long. I don't think I've ever read a book where the guy puts every word.
The way it was?
I mean, we're talking mature rated here. Every word he's ever used in the, and our assistant, Linda Opsel, I read a number of chapters because I speed read, and I walked over to her office and I go, Linda, what kind of a book did you give me? She goes, well, I was, and then she told me the name. I said, this guy can't be a Christian. And she said, well, you know, why don't you read a little further? Because I'm sure that the people said, and so I read further and wow. Then I got into his, you can see all the labels I got on here. But this testimony is absolutely amazing.
Well, it really shows the miracle of salvation when you see how far down maybe he was or whatever.
And I guess
God can save anybody.
I'm intrigued by this because I had a bad life, but
Now you feel like a goody-goody two-shoes.
I feel she's from a Mennonite background. I feel like I was a Mennonite compared to this guy.
We have Bob Williamson and his wife Teresa with us today. Bob is a serial entrepreneur founding 11 successful companies. So evidently God's blessed him since his
got
book.
So many millions.
It's right.
Pathetic.
Anyway, they have a 4,700 acre plantation in Florida, and they have got quite a testimony. Bob has quite a testimony to share.
He's
with
actually
us.
here. He's
Yes.
physically, he's still alive. I don't understand
I can't
that.
wait to hear this. The more he talks about it, the more I can't wait to hear.
It is so neat to have you guys. Really,
Yes,
is.
it is.
It really is.
Thank
neat.
you.
Wow.
Thank you for being here.
Miracle on Luckie Street.
I love the Luckie Street.
Let me tell you, luck doesn't even enter into this. I mean, it's amazing. If God has a plan for your life, He's going to work that plan. I don't care what you do.
That's right.
But let's start in the French Quarter, okay? He's got a 357 Magnum. Have you ever seen a 357?
That's where it starts? Have I ever seen one?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, my dad was a big gun collector, and he would show me the 357 Magnum, and he'd explain what powerful that bullet was, whatever. This guy's carrying one. And a guy tries to mug him. That was a mistake. Because when you get your, now the website's got to be on there, so the availability of the book incoming from me, so don't send me your emails and all that kind of stuff when you read the first 20 chapters, okay? Just keep reading like I had to, all right? But this guy tried to mug him.
I know you're wanting to start there, but I'd like to know what kind of a little boy he was and what kind of a family he came
Well,
from.
why don't
and
you
stuff.
keep that until I get finished here, honey?
All right, I will.
Okay,
If you're going to
just-
get back to it, right?
Yeah.
Because we got it. Okay.
Yeah, 52 years, she won't let me forget anything. All of a sudden, a loud boom And I'm going, when I'm reading, I'm going, he shot the guy. I'm thinking, he shot the guy. But you checked, because I mean, this guy was a fighter. I mean, you were a barroom,
Brawler.
back alley. I mean, if anybody messed with, whether you were a supervisor in a plant or whatever, I mean, if a guy messed with you, he was on the floor.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You don't look like that kind of
I know.
guy.
I mean,
You just look like a very
he looks.
calm-
He looks like actually
Your
what he
wife
is.
looks happy.
Yeah, and 40 years, right? 40 years married. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, the book's really not about me as much as it is about the power of God to transform somebody's life.
How did you? This has to be self-published. Yes, it is. Because there is not a publisher. I mean, I know all the publishing houses. There's not a publishing house in America or foreign countries that would take this manuscript and say, "Oh, okay, we'll publish that." But it is amazing what has happened in your life. Now let's walk through some of the things. Okay, go for it, because I don't want to forget you, because
You just
otherwise,
had to get to that-
because I've got to go home with her.
You just had to get that gun thing out of the way, right?
I just,
Okay,
I
Bob.
love his attitude.
What kind of a family were you born and raised in?
Well, my childhood was dark, and I attended 19 different schools, so we moved around. My father was in the military. He was very strict. And there wasn't a lot of love in my family. And I started drinking when I was 12. I was an alcoholic by the time I was 16. And I started taking drugs at 17. And I was extremely violent. And I was pretty much a loner because I didn't ever have any friends, because we would never stay anywhere long enough really to develop close relationships. So
Now you say it was dark. Why would you say you had a dark childhood?
well, it was just drinking at 12.
Yeah.
I could come and go as I wanted. I had a motorcycle when I was 13, and I had my first job beginning at 8 years old, and just
Okay.
continued from there. And
So there wasn't any boundaries in your family life.
well,
You said it was
there were
strict.
boundaries.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
very strict, but I was very rebellious.
Strict
and,
without love, probably, in a way, but
yeah, there wasn't a lot of love in our family.
You were told that the police had your mugshot. I'm going on with the story. We're going to get a little of it, okay? Sharon was walking out here. She says, "You're not going to cuss on air, are you?"
well, he has done things in the past that has slightly embarrassed me, so I do ask ahead of time.
And the mugshot said, "Armed and dangerous." And this is a quote now from the book. "You better get the hell out of town."
See, there you go.
And and what he did was he took a piece of cardboard, and made a sign out of it, and it said, "Atlanta, Georgia, Dad's funeral." And he stuck his thumb out. And I mean, obviously, your dad was alive.
Right.
But I mean, you knew all of the gigs that would come only from the streets. I mean,
Right.
you had a street smart mind, but I wanted to also say, God gave you a mind that is absolutely unprecedented. I mean, you have such a gift. I mean, you could
I
find.
wasn't using it very well at the time.
I mean, this guy could find a penny laying on the street, pick it up and look at it and go, "You know, I got an idea here. We can turn this penny into a multi-million-dollar ad campaign." I mean, you just do that with your thinking.
Yeah. Well, God gave me, I think, a good intellect, and I was diagnosed as a sociopath,
Really?
And I joined the military. I got in serious trouble. I was court-martialed. And they told me that I didn't have a conscience, that there was no cure for it, there was no medication, and they kicked me out of the service. So I became an intravenous drug user shortly after that. And I had lost all hope, and I'd seen a lot of people die, and just horrible things. And I'd done horrible things for many, many years. And when I went to Atlanta, I had found out the police were looking for me. I'd had this whole litany of things happen to me.
Give us some of the litany, okay? It's in the book, but we're going to give you just a little walkthrough, okay? Now, you can clean up the language. But he didn't clean it up in the book. Okay.
I got arrested and went to parish prison for possession of heroin. I got out, I freaked out or had a bad trip on LSD. I overdosed on methamphetamine, nearly died. I was committing armed robberies and holding up stores, and that's just a sampling.
Yes,
but,
yeah. And that's just a small thing. I mean, I read the part where it's amazing when you have that needle and you use cotton to absorb the meth.
Yeah, you would put a piece of cotton in it, and then you would draw it up through a filter.
And then you thump it, and then you squirt it to make sure there's no bubbles or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put it in, and then get blood up in the syringe, right?
Right.
And that tells you what?
Well, it tells you that you're in the middle of the vein. What you do, you get it in the vein, and then you pull up on it slightly, and when blood enters the syringe, that tells you that it's in the middle of the vein. And then you push it forward, and that's how you do it.
Because your veins had been shot up so much that it was tough for you to get one that you could actually get into, right?
Well, that's not why that's called registering, and you'll see them do that in the hospital. I mean, that just lets you know you're in the vein. If you didn't do that and it wasn't in the vein, it would break out and go under the skin.
And you've had that happen, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
it hurts.
And when that meth hits your system, what does that feel like? What happens?
There's no words to describe it that people can relate to. If you imagine the best feeling you've ever had in your life and magnify it 1,000,000 times, I mean, there aren't words to describe it. That's why people get addicted. It's
How long does it last?
well, you have what's called a rush, and it just overwhelms you. And that only lasts for a few minutes. But then you have an elevated feeling of, I call it nirvana. I mean, it's just, it's impossible to describe how good it makes you feel. You know, I've spoken from Anchorage to Key West and thousands of addicts, and I've never met one that had a goal of becoming one, you know. And sometimes it only takes one time. You know, you can smoke crack one time and you're addicted. Same thing with heroin. It's just mind-boggling. LSD is like that. It's I've often thought there aren't words to really describe it. You will see colors that aren't in the spectrum, and like the street will just glow like a neon or a lava flow from a volcano, and it's just music and light, and it's just wonderful. By the same thing, if you have a bad trip, your arms will go flying off. You look and your face will turn to blood. I was in a room and it was filling up with blood and I was drowning, and there were snakes crawling around in it. It's horrible, and I thought I was gonna die from being scared to death. So it's like being in heaven or hell. I mean, the Bible teaches that it's incomprehensible. No, and I get a slight feel for that because drugs are like that. To an ordinary person who's never experienced them, like my wife, they don't have any idea what you're talking about. But somebody who's tried it understands.
They know exactly.
Yeah. But it doesn't last. I mean, when you first start on drugs, you have that feeling. But then the next time you take it, it goes down, and the next time down. So you try to take more and more and more, but you get less and less and less.
Wow.
And before it's over, you're just trying to
That's
take
like
enough to stay normal.
That's just like sin itself. You
Yes.
know, you have that first one, and then and all of the affairs and everything, and and whether it's pornography or whatever, you got to keep moving up and up and up and up,
Right.
and because it all turns on you. What was great at the beginning is never the way it stays. You got to help me out. What went through your mind when you started writing this book, with what I had to wade through? Help me out. How do you decide? Okay, I'm going to use every verbiage, every person I've ever had an affair with, how I felt, what happened, the word. I mean, the exact words. I mean, no punches pulled.
If you will notice on the book and on the website, there's no reference to me becoming a Christian.
Right.
The reason I wrote the book this way is I was an atheist, and then I became agnostic. I believed in Satan before I believed in God because I was into witchcraft in New Orleans. And my mindset was, if there was something religious, I wanted no part of it. I didn't like Christians. I didn't like Christian talk. I didn't like somebody trying to proselytize me. In fact, I knocked a preacher off a box down in the French
He
Quarter.
told you you were going to hell, and you just.
Well, he
turned
told me I was going to hell. Yeah, that's right.
And you
And I
turned
told
around
him
and-
I'd kill him.
Yeah, and you nailed him. Bam.
And so when I wrote this book, I wanted, there's a couple of purposes for it. One, I wanted it to be real to unsaved people, where when they read it, they know that I know what I'm talking about. I've seen people sit right across from me, shoot up, and drop dead. I've seen it. I know what it's like to live on the streets. I know what it's like to be hopeless and suicidal. I have held a gun to my head. Friends of mine have committed suicide. My brother committed suicide. I know what they're experiencing. And I wanted them to see how low I actually fell. In my mind, and I've spoken in a lot of prisons and jails all over, I've never met anybody. I'm sure there are people worse than where I was, but I've never personally met anybody.
Well, the books I've read, this is the number
Right.
one that I've ever read like this.
And I went from that to being married 40 years, having a great family, 3 sons, all Christians, married to Christian women, 7 grandkids, great career, friends all over the world. When I came in, you asked about the name of the book, I landed on a street called Luckie Street in Atlanta.
Can you believe it?
Isn't that ironic? It was at the intersection of Fairly Lucky. So, I mean, God has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I was penniless. I sold a pint of blood, got a room at the YMCA, got $2 worth of Cokes and candy bars, and then I started cleaning bricks with a hatchet with the winos. That's how I started. I didn't know a single person in Atlanta. I had no family, no friends, I had a pillowcase with 1 change of clothes. I was hopeless meth addict. I had been kicked out of the service. I didn't have a degree.
Is this your picture? This the
That's, by the grace of God, I would have looked like that.
Okay.
On the back is how I actually look.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but this would have been him in New Orleans.
That was taken at Luckie Street, actually.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, and you know, that look is so telling. It really is.
How old were you when you
I
were
was 22.
22
22
at that?
years old.
22?
Yeah.
You had lived all this life
Oh.
and you were only
22.
22?
You actually,
Good night.
you could have been 50 years old at what you had lived without anybody.
I could be on death row or
Yeah.
in
Oh, absolutely.
Angola
Yeah.
State Penitentiary.
No question.
Did your parents try to get in touch with you during this time? Or?
My parents tried several times, but drug addicts wear parents out, and they lose hope. And you know, there's nothing really that they can do. Sometimes my mother
You've got to make the
prayed for
decision,
me.
don't you?
Yeah.
You
You have
yeah.
to make it yourself.
You know what I find interesting is that, was it tests that they gave you in the service, or that they labeled you a sociopath? How did they know this?
No, I was being court-martialed. So part of my defense, the psychiatrist wanted to interview me, and there were about 6 of them, and I was sitting in a chair, and they were sitting out there, and they just interviewed me for several hours, and then about a week later, the head psychiatrist called me back and told me that they had determined that I was a sociopath.
Wow.
And they told me that if it could have been caught early in my childhood and I'd been removed from those circumstances, that might have helped. But actually, they said it was incurable. There was no medication. And I remember thinking at the time, I didn't really care. I just wanted out of the service, and I didn't think much about it. And I think that maybe I was. I all through the book, I try to, people were saying, "What's wrong with you?" When I was 5 years old, I nailed my pet rabbit up to a shed with a nail and killed it. Well, why would somebody do that? I don't know. You know, I would get in fights and have killed somebody. Why'd you do that? I don't know. So it's just the book, getting back to your original question, the reason I wrote it that way, I actually wrote it to the unsaved. I mean, I speak at a lot of churches, and there's just thousands of church people that read it, that get a lot out of it. Because after I became a Christian, and the way I became a Christian is I actually read the Bible. I had a very serious car wreck, head-on collision. I got drunk, borrowed a car, and had a head-on collision, very nearly died. But I've been an insomniac all my life.
Oh, interesting.
So I only sleep 2 or 3 hours a night.
Well, plus you work 7 days a week, and you never stop. I mean, his work ethic would kill you.
But you said all your life, even when you were little?
When I was little, and
Interesting.
I'd sleep 3 or 4 hours, maybe at tops. But I would read all night, and so I would read all kinds of books. So I was recovering, and the nurse was bringing, I befriended this nurse, an African-American lady, a very nice lady, and she would bring me books from the library. Well, the librarian started sending me a list of all the best-selling books. Well, I kept noticing that the Bible was the best-selling book in the world. So I decided to read it, not to become a Christian, to disprove it. You
So
know, I
many
wanted
people do that,
ammunition to
yes.
get back at all these people.
Yeah.
And but when I read it, I found that Jesus was nothing like what I thought he was. He was very compassionate, and he wasn't condescending. And he didn't look at people as to what they were, but what they could be.
Wow.
And so I read a verse in there, Philippians 4:13. It became my life verse. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I slammed it shut, threw it on the bed, and rang for the nurse. And when she came in, I told her, this thing is nothing but a lie. I said, it says I can do anything I want. Well, I'm a drug addict, a meth addict. Less than 2% of anybody who ever sticks a needle in his arm ever gets off it. I said, I've had my friends lowered in the ground in pine boxes. This is nothing but a lie. So she put her hands on her hips and looked at me and she said, Jesus is God. He can do anything he wants. He made the blind see. He cured lepers. He walked on water. He fed the 5,000, and he raised Lazarus from the dead. And if he can do all that, he can change your sorry tale. She didn't say tail. I won't use it on the camera. And then she just stomped out of there, and so I picked it back up, and you know, not long after that, I accepted Christ as my Savior. Wow. And then that became my life verse. Mm-hmm. And you talk about my work ethic, I analyze that verse very carefully. It says, I can do all things through Christ, not Christ will do all things for me. So I knew I had to do my part. And what is all things? All doesn't mean everything, because he wouldn't allow me to establish a drug cartel or a pornography empire. It has to be what he wants you to do with your life. So, and I had trouble understanding that. And but when I got out of the hospital, I got off drugs. I didn't go to NA or rehab. I got off alcohol. I didn't go to AA, although those are good organizations. And then I stopped the violence. I met her right after I got out of the hospital, got married, and then I started my career. And I was the first there, the last to leave, and I knew there were consequences for the way I'd lived, and that I would just have to start at the bottom. Mm-hmm.
We're going to do it part 2, so we're going to stay right here. Obviously, you're not going to stay with us. You'll have to watch it tomorrow. But we're going to find out how he became a multimillionaire and what God has done in his life. It is an unbelievable trip that you're going to take with us. God bless you. Jesus Christ is the answer to every need you may have.